There it is. Progress. All right. Hold on. I'm nothing without my notes.
I didn't bring any notes. Is that going to be a problem?
These aren't notes. These are just the list of movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'll get into it. Okay, so my movie recollection with Vincent Cloud.
And I'm John.
And we are here today to talk about movies quite randomly, quite quickly. The inspiration is that my brother once said, he's like, hey, man, during the quarantine, I wrote every movie I've ever seen. I was like, holy shit. And he rattled off a couple of titles. And I was just, I don't know. I was just like, oh, I remember this. And I would just kind of dive into a little story or a little whatever, you know. Not really a full review at all. And that's what we're going to do, man.
All right.
Yeah. All right. But I was going to cut all these up and throw them in a hat and then wear that hat. But I only made a list. So I have every letter 1 through 10. So you got to give me a letter and you got to give me 1 through 10, John.
All right. Well, let me roll this this die I have here.
Oh my God.
16. What's that, like O? I don't know.
We'll do O.
And then 19. We'll mod 10 that, so we'll say 09.
Wait, well, how do you have that? Is that from Dragons and Dungeons?
I mean, yeah, it could be used for that kind of game. They were just giving them out at a conference I was at, and I thought it looked cool, so I took it.
Look at John being ashamed of his passion.
Like, someday I might need something random, and today was that day.
All right. You said 09, right? Or yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, here we go. First movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
I've seen that movie.
Yeah. I think we might even seen it together, or at least been in the same house with a DVD there. Your house.
Which, you know, in many ways, it's just as good as seeing the movie.
Yeah. Well, you would have missed out on all the good old Soggy Bottom Boys, though.
That's true. And that would be a shame indeed to miss out on them boys. But yeah, obviously, very notable soundtrack for that movie.
It won the Grammy that year for Best Album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, like the entire Grammys, like not just movie related albums?
Yeah, I believe it was at the Grammys, it was Album of the Year. It beat out all these actual, I mean, it's a compilation soundtrack, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine how pissed whoever the fuck was in 1990 something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably pissed.
Like Christina Aguilera or whoever.
Oh yeah, she was like, I fucking got dirty for this. I pranced around in my fucking panties. But I do. The soundtrack was good, and fucking, it was everywhere. That's probably the biggest thing that comes from this movie.
Yeah. And beyond that, like, you know, I'm a big fan of anything related to like the Odyssey, so like, you know, the retellings of that.
Wow, that's
whatnot.
cool. You know, I was gonna try and be like smart and be like, did you know this was the actual the Odyssey? But not only that though, like I like the fact that you enjoy those stories. Like, have you read like the Iliad and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's a book I read a few years ago. It's like a collection of short stories called Lost Books of the Odyssey. And it's like basically just kind of retellings or just like additional things that Odysseus might have gotten up to during that time. But like, you know, it was just written a few years ago.
Wow.
Because I think like the Odyssey and like those types of stories, like it was just a common practice for writers back in the day to like just make their own version of it as like a writing exercise. So
Oh, right. You're right. Because this, yeah, I was going to say that very person saw the Thousand-Year War, wrote it all down.
yeah.
What's his name? Homer, right? It's Homer.
Yeah.
So the other thing I want to mention though is like, isn't the Odyssey basically one of the most successful spin-offs? Because it comes from the fall of Troy or whatever, right? Like that's where it comes from.
Yeah. So the Iliad is like the Trojan War or whatever, and then the Odyssey is basically just this guy trying to get home from that.
Yeah, holy crap! This is what Joey from Friends wanted to accomplish. Like, people kind of remember Friends, but people are gonna fucking love Joey.
Yeah.
But Oh Brother Where Art Thou itself, Coen Brothers. I mean, this is one of those movies where it's like it kind of teeters to like their comedies, which I sometimes is hit or miss. But then I don't know, it's different enough that I enjoyed it a lot. You got good old Goodman, terrible
as a Cyclops,
Totoro, gorgeous George. I'm trying to make them all rhyme. Who else is in that movie? I don't know. Who's that? Blake Nelson? Is it that the third guy? Beautiful Blake Nelson. Yes.
Blazing Blake.
Yeah.
That's what I always call him.
Yeah. So it was cool, and it's a weird freaking musical, but I liked it. And you know what, John? The beauty of all this is if we're done with this movie, we are done. We can move on.
All right.
Have we rung it out?
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but you got to pick another letter and number, though, John.
All right. Let's see what we got here. D. 11. I mean, 1.
For a second there, I was like, "Oh my god!" If I hear "D's nuts" from you, I was like, oh. I worked at a high school for like a semester, and it was so annoying how many times that was like the big, like everyone said it, like everyone laughed, and you're like, dude, come on, like I hear this all the time.
Is this pre-Ligma?
I don't even get that.
Ligma balls.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well. All right, you said D1, right?
Yes.
Dazed and Confused, man.
Oh man. Awesome. Totally awesome.
Amazing soundtrack as well. Holy shit.
That's true. I have much less recollection of
we know
the soundtrack.
Why.
Or the movie itself. Other than I have watched it, but I remember more of it just from seeing it referenced by other things.
Right. Yeah.
I think.
Like, what's his name? Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Being a fucking glorified pervert. He's like, I get older, the high school girls stay the same age. It's kind of like, it's really, oddly enough, hasn't aged so well, that joke.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
But he was charming.
Judge Reinhold, he's in that?
I don't know, but he's supposed to be like 20-something, 21, maybe. No, probably not. He's probably supposed to be like 25. Still banging high school girls, man.
Let's see here. Divided by 2 plus 7.
Oh yeah, you're supposed. Yeah, that's the rule.
I mean, yeah, I don't think it makes the cut.
Yeah, I like the movie a lot. I remember watching it with my mom. I think she was like, "Oh, this is on TV," and she turned it on, and she grew up during that time, so she's like, "Yeah, the '70s and stuff like that." So it's a big nostalgic trip for her. but I would go on later to watch it. I like it. In fact, because I like Richard Linklater too. Like he's got some good stuff.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Is there like a does he throw like coffee in someone's face at the end? Is that a thing?
Coffee in someone's face. Someone gets
Yeah.
punched in the face, but it's decaf. No, that's
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused. Coffee in the face. I'm kind of curious on what that movie is then.
Yeah, I might be getting myself confused
Oh my
with
gosh, I'll be dazed. How about that?
yeah, all right.
I will say though, what else? I guess it kind of spoiler alert. Like eventually, I didn't drink back in the day for the longest time, and now I do, and now I smoke too, and that's the sort of typical stoner movie. They're like, "Hey man, it's fucking sweet" and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's nice. All right, next movie, John. We can
Next
just
movie.
travel up and down the D's if you want, whatever you want. Think of it.
All right, let's go 6Ds forward.
60s forward.
Yeah.
I don't get that, John. What are you saying?
D7 is what I'm trying to say.
Break that down. How is that? How is
Well, we
that?
were on D1, and I just want to go forward 6 in the Ds.
Okay. All right. Donnie Darko.
Ooh,
Yeah.
definitely watched that movie many times in college, trying to like understand the time loop.
Oh yeah.
And there was about 20 minutes of my life where we had achieved total clarity, excuse me, on how all of that worked. And then I immediately was like, oh wait, but what about and then
Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I just remember someone said, have you seen the audio commentary?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, so I think it was a Cracked article, and they were like, there are directors that don't know what they're doing. They just kind of stumbled upon genius. And they listed that guy as one of them, where they're like, he made Donnie Darko. And when he tries to explain it in the audio commentary, it doesn't make any sense. It's clear like he was just like, I don't know if it'll look cool or something like that, Yeah. But it worked. I mean, it was pretty sweet back in the day watching it. And that was like before Stranger Things, where they went back to the 80s.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, some iconic stuff in there. The creepy rabbit costume.
Yeah.
That Gary Jules cover of the Tears for Fears song.
That was a cover? I thought it was just a straight up head over heels. Is that it or no? What am I thinking of?
No, think it's kind of funny, think it's kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I ever had. But it's like the piano arrangement.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is haunting. I thought that was REM.
No, pretty sure that's Tears for Fears.
But why were my eyes rapidly moving? The Gyllenhaals, before we knew they were going to become a thing, it was brother and sister, man, acting side by side. There's something else. Oh, it's really
Drew
random.
Barrymore.
Yeah. I was going to say that Drew Barrymore for some reason. Noah Wiley from ER's in there. Patrick, what's his name? The guy who died. Roadhouse, Ghost.
Oh, Swayze?
Yes. Patrick Swayze is a fucking motivational speaker / pedophile.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was ballsy of him. He's like, I haven't had a hit since Roadhouse. How do I get back?
How do I recapture it?
Let's see what else. There's some great lines too. Some are really inappropriate now. Like when they tell that girl, she's like, "Go back to China, bitch."
Oh, yeah.
I remember Friends laughing like crazy, And now I look back, I'm like, oh, that poor girl. She's just trying to exist, man.
Yeah. The whole love and fear are opposites speech, I remember. I
And
think it's true.
that fucking teacher, she's like a Westerner. She's got those weird crooked teeth, but she always plays the same character, some self-righteous woman.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, she's like, it's either in the hate or in the love. And Donnie Darko's like, it's more complicated than that. The only thing I wish I could remember was the number that Frank says. He's like 6 days, 7 minutes, 23 seconds, or whatever the fuck. Remember that?
Mm,
And
yeah.
so yeah, he writes it down. Yeah, that's cool. Good movie.
Yeah, although I'm afraid to watch it again, kind of. Because I have like a decently fond memory of it, and I feel like if I were to watch it now, that I might not still feel that way. I don't know.
Yeah, they
It's
made a
probably
Donnie
fine.
Darko 2
Oh, really? Yeah, that sounds
about the
vaguely
little
familiar.
sister.
Okay.
Yeah, and they got the
She did
actress
not
to
get
come
her
back.
due.
Yeah, they got this little child actress who just happens to be like a teenager now, and they're like, yeah, she's kind of hot where she could be our lead or whatever. Because the Gyllenhaal's fucked off. They're like, we're actually successful now, you know. So the sequel was
Yeah.
direct to video. I didn't rent it because it looked pretty bad. Yeah, I got out of there. But that dude, the director, he went on to make some really fucking bad movies. Southland Tales. Ever see that?
Never saw it.
Ooh, good. Yeah, you did yourself a favor, John. It's
All
bad.
right. So not a filmography to dive into is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it is very realistic that we might, upon another viewing, like maybe one more viewing before the camel's back is broken, where we're like, yeah, this director is horrible. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the end of that. John, new letter, new number.
New letter. All right. Yeah. Let's get out of these D's and into a G.
All right.
G8 to be precise.
Okay, that would be nothing other than one of my personal favorites, Gremlins, man. Gremlins.
Oh man. Yeah, you're gonna have to carry this one. I haven't seen that for such a long time.
Really? And is that because you were like, as a child, you were like, this is beyond me, or this is below me?
No, I don't know. Just never. I guess never came across it at the age where I should have, and then just never bothered to like go back to it much. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what do you want? They're gremlins. Don't feed them after midnight. Don't get them wet.
Third one. You want to survive? What can't you do?
Look them in the eye. I don't know.
That's apes. Killer ape. It's they can't don't let him in the sunlight. It'll kill him.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very sad. In fact, that's the ending of the movie where like it's up to the last gremlin, Stripe. He's got this white mohawk because it was the 80s, and they were like, that's how we distinguish him as like the leader of the gremlins and stuff. But I fucking love that movie so much. Like all the gremlins die in a theater fire, right?
Right.
Remember
yeah.
that? Okay. And then after that, it's all about trying to kill Stripe at the end, right? And I loved Stripe so much. When I was a kid, I had a Stripe doll. It was awesome. And then one day, during the night, we were like, I was so small, so young. We were driving, and our vehicle just caught on fire randomly. So we parked over. Mom and Dad got out. We were all kind of piled up in the back and stuff. So our dad grabbed us out there, and I was reaching for Stripe, and I got taken away. And the only reason why I wasn't completely shattered by all this, where I was like, well, you know what, Stripe, he burned like his brothers and sisters did in the theater. So in a way, he's united to him. That's how I thought when I was a child.
I guess good.
Well, otherwise I would have been probably just right? Like rocking back and forth on the side of the road.
The alternative was just being crushed on losing your best friend.
They're like, Vince, it was crazy. We thought you were going to cry, and we get it to you, and you're like, how are you okay with Stripe? And I'm like, Stripe who? I'm all cold and shit. I'm dead. I'm fine with it. Glad
it's narratively appropriate.
Yeah. It's all in the audio commentary, and I walk away like, what? What are you talking about? But yeah, I don't know. That movie's awesome. I recommend it. I will have to say this because it doesn't really get brought up in reviews, so maybe you don't care. But the mom is kick ass. Like she's the first one to experience the Gremlins when they turn, and she like fucking kills them in the kitchen and throws them in microwaves, blends them in, fights them in like a Christmas tree, all this crazy shit, right? And this is all before our main protagonist, Billy, her son, shows up and saves her. Until then, it was the mom who was the badass. As soon as Billy shows up, she just gets driven away to safety. And then it's all about Billy and Gizmo trying to stop the Gremlins. But it's fucking crazy. Like, I don't feel like the mom is given enough props in history.
Yeah. That certainly was not something I hear about when people talk about Gremlins, was how badass the mom was.
Yeah, exactly. They're probably just oogling fucking, what's her name? Phoebe Cates, which I don't blame them. She's like one of my great crushes, and she's in just one of the greatest movies, so that's awesome. And in the sequel. Yeah. Moving on, John.
Moving on.
New letter, new number.
Let's go M4.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so keep in mind, these are movies that I've seen.
Here comes the the hedging.
So these are movies that I have seen because that was what my brother did. He made a list of every movie he ever seen, whether he liked it or not. So I'm like, all right. So I did that really quick, and this is one of those movies where I kind of didn't like it. Man of Steel.
I think I saw that one. That was who's the Superman in that one?
Henry Cavill or Cavill. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember anything about it. It was cold, right?
It's cold? Is it like emotionally cold?
No, like a lot of ice places in that movie.
Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, the Fortress of Solitude is in the North Pole.
Yeah, pretty cold there.
Well, yes, but they're only there for a little bit.
And like a lot of, the sending the baby through space backstory, of course, right? Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember like the conflict or anything about the movie. I saw it like in the theater when it came out, and then apparently forgot everything about it.
Me too. I saw it in a drive-through, like probably the last time I'll ever be able to do that. I watched that there, and I didn't care for it. It was really loud and bombastic. I love the original. Like that's what I grew up with, and I don't think the first one's better because of that. I don't think it's a nostalgic thing. Like they don't capture the essence of Superman. Superman is not a fucking rogue, dark, violent person, like that's not him. It's the complete opposite. The reason why he's boring is because he's like a Boy Scout,
Do you think it was like a post Nolan Batman thing? They were like trying to we need Superman to be dark.
Yeah, for sure. And Snyder, he makes some cool stunts and camera work and stuff, but you shouldn't allow him to write. You know, there was a lot of effed up stuff about it, like how Pa Kent basically said, because like when Clark was a kid and they're on that bus and it kind of falls in the water, and he, like, the boy knows he could have saved everyone, and he does, and then he gets in trouble, and then the Pa Kent is like, maybe you should have let him die, son, or something like that. It was fucked up. That's not Pa Kent to me. Like, everything in that movie is like the dark, bizarro universe of those actual characters.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't. I vaguely remember a bus after you told that story.
I love the fact that the first thing was it was cold, yes, but I would say the majority of the movie was like probably room temperature. It was just fine, and like Amy Adams is severely underutilized. Like, I think she's a really good actress, but she was just given a couple of snarky comments. And I still think the original Lois Lane, or the one from the 70s, is, even though she's not pretty to me at all, she's quirky and she's funny, where I'm like, you know what, that would get me. You know, I like a girl who's funny, you know. And Amy Adams is pretty, but she certainly wasn't funny, you know. Yeah. What about you, John? Do you need that? Do you need the combo, or you're like, she can't be funny, can't be funnier than me?
Yeah, can't be prettier than me, can't be funnier than me, can't lift more than me.
And just like that, like Superman, fly off into the next movie. We have 2 minutes, John.
However, I am a fan of the Sufjan Stevens song "Man of Steel" on the album Illinois.
Oh wow!
All right, E3.
E3. Oh my gosh, how obscure! With only 2 minutes left, 8.5.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, it's Fellini. It's a pretty highbrow director.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and really quick, it's just like, I don't know. It's all this hallucination. He's kind of like sifting through his memory about all his ex-girlfriends and shit like that. And he's also like a filmmaker, but he's like, oh, do I ever want to do this? But it's very influential to a lot of people, like Woody Allen and stuff like that. A lot of people still reference 8.5 as like very inspirational. And it's crazy because like at the very end, I remember him in a giant house being confronted by every single ex-girlfriend, ex-lover he's ever had. You know, it's a fantasy, but they're all there and they're all trying to attack him, and he takes out this whip and he's like whipping like their lions. It is the most bizarre thing, but they just did it so well. I think it's Italian, something like that. Fellini. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's good. So John, that was our first episode of my movie recollection. Speedy, fast.
We did it.
Like, subscribe, comment. This was my movie recollection with Pizza.
Wait, me?
Oh, you. Our.
No, I mean, those are things I should do.
Oh, you could just say your name. You could ask them to. Yeah.
No, never mind. I thought you were telling me to like and subscribe.
Oh.
My name's John.
That was John.